Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Misericordia University. I'm Director of Athletics, Chuck Edkins, and it is my pleasure to welcome each and every one of you here this evening to our 20th annual Misericordia University Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We are thrilled to have so many friendly faces in the audience and the opportunity to honor a tremendous class. Let me tell you who we're going to honor tonight. And tonight we are going to induct 6 individuals to this class, 5 student-athlete alum, and Dr. Pasquale, who was the president of, at that time, College Misericordia. He will be inducted as a key contributor and friend of the program, hence 6 inductions for this evening. We'll kick it off alphabetically when we get going. Ethan Eichhorst, class of 2012, men's basketball. Colleen Corrigan Kloss, 2004, women's basketball. Christine Marks Manning, class of 2012, women's basketball. 2 more and we can have a game of 5-on-5 tonight. Hollie Sarnak Parsons, class of 2011 in softball. As I had mentioned, Dr. Pat Pasquale, president of then College Misericordia, 1989 to 1992. And Eric Rogers, class of 2008, men's track and field. Before we start, yes, you can give a little applause. That's great. Love it. Love it, love it. Fantastic. To begin the evening's celebrations, I would like to call on a Misericordia University Hall of Famer, class of 1997, Paul Zengel, and also a member of our Hall of Fame committee to offer the invocation. Paul Zengel.
Sure. Big night tonight. I'm excited to be here. Congratulations, everyone going into the hall. And before we get to the big show, if everyone could please just bow your heads and have a quick prayer. Father, thank you for bringing us all here today. Your scripture tells us that every gift is from God. Those God-given gifts are what bring us here today. And so we'd like to thank the Lord for the athletes we are celebrating this evening. May they always use these gifts to honor you first and forever mirror the core values you've demonstrated, which are also the foundations of this great university: mercy, service, justice, and hospitality. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Paul, well done. Thanks. Well done. Well done. Our University Athletics Hall of Fame is a collaborative effort between, obviously, the Department of Athletics and our extremely active Alumni Association. And tonight, I'm going to call upon the president of our University Alumni Board, class of 2013, Christelle Patrice. She is the president of that board, and she is thrilled and excited to be here to represent Misericordia's University alumni. So, Christelle, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Christelle, I go by Christelle Patrice, but I was recently married, so Christelle Hoffman. I'm still getting used to it at this point. But my name is Christelle Patrice. I graduated class of 2013, and I am the president of the Misericordia University Alumni Association. And it's an absolute honor to be here tonight with you as we celebrate and we welcome our guests, student athletes, family, friends, our athletic department, alumni, and especially our guest of honor, tonight's Hall of Fame class of 2022. This year's inductees join those who have been chosen by their peers as the most deserving recipients from their respective class years. It has been said, one man or woman practicing sportsmanship is better than 50 preaching it. Athletics serves as an integral part of the overall educational experience for all students at Misericordia University. And as student athletes, sportsmanship is more than just doing the right things. It is an approach by which you conduct yourself on and off of the field. And as you know, you are huge role models for many others throughout your community. Tonight's inductees are not only representative of their sport, but each demonstrated hard work, sportsmanship, and a commitment to their team. So please, join me in congratulating Misericordia University's Athletics Hall of Fame, class of 2022.
Christelle, thank you. And I need to correct. I believe I said Christelle Patrice, because that's who I'm used to. Christelle Hoffman. Yes, I still got to get it right, though. Got to get it right. At this time, I would like to introduce to you the members of the Hall of Fame Committee. Their work and their diligence to bring forward tonight's class and classes before you is unparalleled. The group that's going in tonight, whew, pretty good. Groups that have gone in before them, pretty good. And groups that are going to go in after them, pretty good. But you keep making this committee's job very, very difficult. So thanks. And I'd like to acknowledge those that are part of this committee. Leilani Augustine, our Director of Alumni Relations. Robin Fedor-Stahovic, our Senior Women's Administrator and Head Field Hockey Coach. Dr. Joe Cipriani, Faculty Representative in our renowned Occupational Therapy Program. Scott Crispell, our Assistant Athletic Director for Media and Community Relations. Shane Pagnotti, who is the Chair of our Athletic Alumni Committee. Anthony Sergio, Serge, representing former student athletes. And we have two members of our current Hall of Fame who also are members of our committee. You heard from Paul Zengel, class of 97, and Shelley Lyons Kostoff, who was a women's basketball player here for us in our Hall of Fame. That is our committee. It is a great group to work with. We have some very lively, engaged, and sometimes heated conversations, but at the end of the day, we can walk out, shake hands, and say, job well done. So thanks to that group. If you would acknowledge them with me, that would be great. Before we get to the reason why we're here this evening, to recognize such an esteemed group, I would like to take a minute, and I know we have a few of them here tonight, any Hall of Famers who were kind enough, gracious enough to come this evening and support those that are being inducted today. If you could just stand quickly, that would be great so we can acknowledge current Hall of Famers. So let's get after it. Let's induct this amazing group of men and women. Each individual tonight will have someone that will present them, speak on their behalf. The inductee will then come forward, provide their remarks. Go Cougars. We'll also present them with a plaque. They chose their picture, so anybody that sees it, you can talk to the person and say, hey, how come you chose that picture? And they'll tell you because it was a good one. That's why. And they will also receive a Hall of Fame watch. Replica or duplicate of the plaque is on the Hall of Fame wall. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look, but feel free to take a look at those plaques at some point this evening. So as I said, let's get the party started. Our first inductee, men's basketball player, Ethan Eichhorst, class of 2012. To present Ethan is a Misericordia University alum, former head men's basketball coach, and now the successful head women's basketball coach at Bucknell University. See how people from Wyalusing can just move up the ladder? I'd like to introduce to you Trevor Woodruff. Trev?
Great to be back. First, congrats to all the inductees. What a great honor. As a proud alum, it's always good to see the best among us be honored. Like everybody in this room, you reach a certain age, and then there are eventually flashes of how old you are right across your face. I had one of those when Ethan asked me to present him to the Hall of Fame. Certainly a great honor, but we're getting old. I used to sit out there and watch old people present people I went to college with, and now I'm one of them. And then Coach introduced Paul Zengel, and I was like, wow. If they only knew what we were doing back in the day, buddy, neither one of us would be talking today. but it's great to be here. Ethan Eichhorst is the epitome of what a Hall of Fame player and person is. Very proud of my 11-year tenure here as the coach. We have probably others who will someday make this Hall of Fame that played for us. None more fitting to be the very first of my group to go in. He's a Hall of Famer in every way. I won't bore you with all the stats, but when you just gloss over it, Freedom Conference MVP, Player of the Year, I think he's 4th all-time in scoring, led us to the first modern era NCAA tournament, conference championship in the history of the school. It goes on and on, All-American. Those things are the very obvious things that we would mention. But I was thinking of a few other things as I tried to remember back. Actually, a few days ago, I was listening to the radio, and there was an interview going on. They were talking about Bill Parcells. I don't know if any of you know that name. Bill Parcells is a Hall of Fame NFL coach. And they were talking about what did Bill Parcells look for when they were in the draft looking for players. And they said we had a very exact idea of what we were looking for based on position. For cornerback, we want this height, this hip rotation, this speed, very specific. And they did that for all positions. But then he said, if they're not that, but they walk on water, I don't care how tall they are. I don't care how fast they are. So find me people that walk on water, and we will win championships. Well, I want to be honest. When we recruited Ethan, he was not that. We didn't think that. He was a little too short for his position. He had decent skills. We thought, maybe I'm just a bad evaluator. There was no reason to think we would be here today when we recruited Ethan Eichhorst. Truth be told, he was just a good player. He was a good player that fit Misericordia, so we recruited him hard, and we were certainly glad that he came. First time I heard his name, I said, Ethan, what? Ike, what? And then he came, and we saw his daily routines. He just embraced detail above and beyond any player that I've ever had. And I don't say that lightly. I've coached All-Americans, both genders, at multiple levels. He understood that little details added up to individual and team success. To this day, I use Ethan as an example with my teams. We did a shooting drill nearly every day. It was a shooting drill, 6 minutes. And we would tell the team, listen, we want you to practice communicating in the drill. And so if it's your turn to shoot, we want you to say ball, ball, ball 3 times. Call for the ball. And if you're passing to the shooter, we want you to say their name. And we put these little details in the drill. And when I tell you every time Ethan shot for 4 straight years, he said ball, ball, ball. Because no detail was too small. And he became a kid that was a decent recruit to a Hall of Famer because he embraced detail. So as a former basketball player at Misericordia, an alum of what I believe is a life-changing institution, and a very lucky coach, it's my great honor to introduce Ethan Eichhorst for the Hall of Fame.
Thank you for those kind words, Coach. I didn't pay him to say all that kind of stuff. I appreciate it. Hopefully I don't get choked up. But thank you, Hall of Fame Committee, for this honor, being inducted into this year's class. The athletic department, congratulations to all the fellow nominees, all well-deserved. I'm familiar with some of you as you played alongside of me while I was here. And some I'm familiar with outside of Misericordia. I'd like to thank my family. My wife, Kelly's here tonight. She was a cheerleader for me throughout the years. She went to the rival King's school, so she had to come to some of the games and cheer for me despite going to King, so I appreciate that. And my brother Aaron's here tonight as well. to the coaches that made it possible. Coach Woodruff had all those nice things to say about me, but he was the guy that put me into position to be successful. I thank him, and he's really the reason I'm here today. And Coach Willie Chandler, he was on our bench too. Now he's the head coach of the team, leading them to great success. I always would follow up with some of the coaches. Our GA at the time, Brandon Chambers, I'd say, hey, how's recruiting going? And he'd say, oh, I'm still looking for the next Ethan Eichhorst. So I think Willie has a kid now that's pretty similar. And thank you to all the players that played with me, Kale, Chris, Serge, Jeff. Thank you guys for coming. It means a lot. I truly love being your teammate, and we had a good time, and memories that'll last forever, friendships that'll last forever. I was just at the Eagles game the other night with Kale and Serge. So, and to the current players, no, go Vikings, even though they lost. Rule of thumb: don't wear opposing team's jersey to the Eagles game. Not a good idea. And thank you to the current players that came today. You guys are with a phenomenal program, a phenomenal coach, and great history. Just to kind of say a little bit about myself, I was just inducted into the Hazleton Area Hall of Fame, where I'm from, earlier this month, and I don't think I would have even had an opportunity to be inducted into that Hall of Fame without the help of the coaching staff here and my teammates here at Misericordia that helped me have a successful career in order to garnish that acknowledgement at Hazleton Area. I love Misericordia so much, I just decided to go back for my doctorate in OT, and I'm finishing up this year, so I'm a lifelong learner, I guess. And before we started tonight, I was talking to Coach Woodruff, and he was trying to remember my recruiting process, and I remember it, and it was Coach Jerry Blazek was our assistant at the time, and he came to this rec league. It was actually called the Kyle Goyne League. It was all the area's best players at the time. We played in a small gym in Kingston, and I played on Owen Wignot's team. He ended up going to Siena. I sometimes think that they were coming to see him and they stumbled upon me, but in the end it worked out pretty well. And like Coach said, I wasn't a great, phenomenal player out of high school. I was average. I was unathletic. I did most things pretty good. But like as Coach said, attention to detail is a thing that I carried with me into my coaching career even. A lot thanks to Coach. But he was the one that just put me in positions to be successful. He would ask me, hey, how do you want this play to be run? Do you rather shoot a jump shot dribbling off your right hand or your left hand? So he tailored those plays to how I felt comfortable, and in the end, that's kind of what made me successful. And like Coach said, I improved over the years. My family tells me all the time, you didn't get good until you were in college and until you developed, and it's true. And now I get to go against these young guys in a couple weeks in the Alumni game, so I'm not looking forward to that. So hopefully I'm in shape in time. And I would say that I was good at a lot of things. I didn't have a position really. In my junior year at 6'3", I played center. I had to guard 7-foot guys from Albright. The funny story is the whole year I had a jump ball at the beginning of the game. I was shorter than the guy in front of me every single time. The last game of the year, we played Wesley, and the guy across from me looks at me and says, wow, I'm taller than the guy in front of me. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I've been the shortest guy all year long, and so this guy was in the same boat as I was, but we made do. With me at the 5 and Frank Nutt at the 4, we still managed to win 15 games. And I had to take a lot of charges because I was just outnumbered, outsized. I still have a friend that played at Wilkes University, Kendall Hines. He hates me because I used to take charges on him all the time just because I was outsized. But going into my senior year, some of you alumni and current players remember you do that NCAA survey and everything, and at the end it says, put your personal goal for next year. And I wrote on there I wanted to become an All-American. And at the time, I thought it was a little far-fetched, and actually Coach brought me into the office the next year, and he said, you know what you wrote down for your personal goal? And I said, yes, I do. He goes, you know how much work's going to be involved to achieve that goal? And at first, I didn't, I just said, oh, yeah, we'll make it happen. But then that year, me and my roommate at the time, Steve Artzeronian, who started with me, we came to the gym early, we got shots up, we practiced, we worked out afterwards. Not only were we pushing each other, but we were setting an example for the rest of the team. I can remember Coach saying to the younger guys, like, hey, this is what you guys have to do in order to be successful. So I think, that also helped our team's success that year. Just by putting in that extra effort, and then individually, I think it helped me succeed as well. And then, like I said, going into the senior year, we had some phenomenal players. Chris Undersinger, phenomenal shooter we had. Jeff, 1,000-point scorer, second all times in threes. We had a great guys coming off the bench. Kale, Joe Busaka, Sean Bieski. Our point guard, Matt Green, ended up being a 1,000-point scorer, led the league in assists. And I could go on. And as I just mentioned, none of those guys played my position. So I didn't get a sub at all. 38, 40 minutes, which I didn't mind. I liked it. More shots for me, I guess. But anyways, that year I achieved my goal of becoming an All-American, which I'm proud of. And, I hope these younger guys could take that work ethic and, put forth, and, they could achieve the same things. I wasn't phenomenal out of high school, so just take that in mind. One quick story that I always find funny. Coach was always about defense. We used to have that amoeba defense. No one even knew how it was. You had to have a PhD to figure out how to use it. I was not a very good defensive player. Coach once told me I was the worst defensive player he ever coached. But he followed it up with a compliment. He said, I'm the smartest defensive player he ever coached. My lack of athleticism, I used to anticipate the next play, next pass, and I used that to my advantage. But anyways, we played at Penn College, which smaller school. We're geared to beat this team. After the game, the score was 93-87, high-scoring game. He said, "Great job, everybody, but Ethan, your guy gave up 30 points to your guy." He goes, our goal is to win your matchup every night. And I said back to him, probably regretting it, I said, well, I scored 27, Coach. I mean, I only lost my matchup by 3 points. So in the end, he made me a phenomenal player, and thank you for that. And as Coach said, athletics in 2012 was phenomenal. Boys basketball, girls basketball, men's, women's basketball. We won the same MAC championship in the same night, which was unbelievable. Baseball, phenomenal at that time. Soccer, I could go on and on. Just being a part of Misericordia and the environment and athletics in general at that time was just phenomenal, and it's something I'll always remember. You can't even explain it. And that just goes to show, like, the institution and how it's set up and the people they recruit. It's contagious. But in closing, I learned a lot of life lessons from Coach on and off the floor. Lifelong friends that I'll have forever. If I ever need anything, I'll reach out to them in a heartbeat. But I'm hopefully going to be able to, now that I'm starting a family. I have a 2-year-old son, Ethan, and a little girl on the way. Hopefully these life lessons I could carry on to them. About setting goals like myself and being able to achieve those, and being coachable. Being coachable is a huge thing in life and in coaching and being a player, a student athlete. I just think hopefully I could translate all those to my son one day. But thank you all for your time. I appreciate the honor, and I'm enough for that.
I just said to Eth, the way Trevor started the presentation, he might want to find a different presenter next time, but good rally, Coach Woodruff, good rally. Colleen, Corrigan, Kloss. Class of 2004, women's basketball. Presenting Colleen tonight is a Misericordia alum, good friend of hers, and also a director of athletics at Panther Valley High School. Coach was on the phone most of the time up here because they're hosting a home football game and Kristen isn't there. So in true fashion, you're on the phone, driving safely at the same time. But to present Colleen, let me present Kristen Black.
I did put my phone on silent here, so we are probably in about the second quarter. First off, I am from the Skook, so if I throw a slang out there, I'll tell you about it later. And I'm also a jock, so, you know, those two together plus a speech doesn't really go well, but let's see what happens, okay? It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of this accomplished group. I especially wish to honor Colleen Corrigan Kloss today, who graduated in 2004 and enjoyed one of the most successful women basketball careers in Misericordia history. She is one of the most prolific scorers the program has ever seen. Colleen is a 4-year letter winner and was the team MVP as a senior. She was a 3-time all-conference honoree and played on 2 teams that reached Pennsylvania Athletic Conference championship games. She holds the school single game record for 8 3-pointers and ranked second in school history with 163 career 3-pointers and 6th in career points with 1,283. Colleen ranks 3rd in the career plays at the top of 10 career field goals, free throws, percentage, and points per game. In addition, Colleen owns 3 of the top 10 single season score points totals, which is a top 10 single season point givers for a game. The evidence speaks for itself as to why Colleen earned a spot in this Hall of Fame. Now, let me add some of my own stats for Colleen. Colleen and Dr. Pasquale are the only 2 inductees today that graduated under the name College Misericordia, not Misericordia University. She is the 2nd oldest inductee, turning 40-year-old 2 weeks ago today. Colleen has never stepped foot in a bar at Misericordia. Colleen's job, and sometimes mine, on a Friday night and Saturday, was to pick up some of the boys' basketball players, Will, Mike, at an off-campus party. Colleen and her roommates, I included, did have a cat in Gilday, only after the boys didn't want it anymore. However, that only lasted a few days, and it was taken to the SPCA. MTOs from Sheets was her late night snack. So no, not only was she a machine on the court, but she was a true MVP all around. Her value came from prioritizing others, from herself making the safety of humans and animals for her first priority. The definition of a teammate is as follows. A great teammate is positive, full of energy, enthusiastic, regardless of the situation, positively, with transferred to other members of your team, but adversely negative will do the same. A great teammate is willing to accept feedback from their team. There's a million ways to describe a teammate, and Colleen fits every description. But if I'm going to brag about my friend and teammate, it's that all the definitions can be used to tell the story of who Colleen always was and still is today. She is honest, positive, a leader, and the hardest worker. Caring, loyal, devoted, and more than willing to give more than her body can give. She carries over this to her lovely husband, her children, her parents, her brother, and her students. Let's tell the story on how she puts her children first all the time. It also shows every day that she devotes and shows towards her students for the last 18 years. And to me, it tells me the story of the most reliable and loyal friend that I could ever have. Thank you, Colleen, for letting me be part of your family's special night. As a proud graduate of Misericordia, like most of you here today, I couldn't be more honored to be here this evening. I wish the continued growth and success of our university and wish all an amazing night. Go Cougars. So Colleen, come on up here. It's your turn.
Oh, she is so right. We did pick up the guys' team a lot. We saved them a lot, including Will. Yeah, we had the privilege of living across the hall from each other. So the girls' team watched out for the guys' team, and it was nice. It is so nice to be back here in a place I called home for 4 years, and not just the school. And like Kristen said, it's College Misericordia to me. But this gym was my home for 4 years. I spent countless hours on that floor, shooting, usually with members of the guys' team, or playing pickup games, or, just running laps on that indoor track. So today, this hard work has definitely paid off. I'm honored tonight to be inducted into this Hall of Fame with all the other great athletes that are here tonight. We all share a common goal, and that is we all worked hard, we all played hard, and we wanted to win as much as possible. We wore the name on the front of our jersey with pride, and it is an honor to say that we're part of this Hall of Fame. There's a few people here tonight that I would like to personally thank. First are my parents. They never missed a game. We were in Philly maybe 2 nights, 3 nights a week, and they knew the turnpike like the back of their hand. It didn't matter if we were going to Arcadia or Newman on a Monday night, they were there. There were some nights that my brother was playing at Lycoming, and they would come here and watch a half of my game. And they'd get in the car and drive an hour to Lycoming, which is in the opposite direction of our house. And they'd go watch him play and then drive 2 hours home, all by working 2 full-time jobs. They are the most supportive parents I could ever ask for. And I hope that I can do the same for my own 2 kids. So I thank you too. My brother, who spent countless hours on the court with me, whether it was shooting, doing drills, shooting foul shots, 3-point competitions, or playing a game of 21. He made me better, stronger, and faster. And I have to thank him for that. My husband, whom did not get to see me play, he went to the University of Scranton, but that's all right. My husband, who has been so supportive of me here tonight, he came home one day and said he now gets to say he's married to a Hall of Famer, which I think is pretty awesome. He's wonderful. He's my rock, and I'm so happy that you are here tonight. My 2 kids, just remember to always work hard, play hard, go the extra mile, good things will happen. My brother-in-law and mother-in-law, so happy you are here tonight. And Kristen, whom I could not have asked for a better lifelong friend. She nominated me, and her exact words were, "Finally, Colleen, finally, it's paid off." From 6 a.m. practices, coming out of McHale, dragging to that court, we developed a lifelong friendship. And I may not have ever met her if it wasn't for coming here or playing basketball under Coach Larden, who not many of you know, but she was here for 4 years, and she was a tough woman, but she made me the player that I am today. She pushed us hard. We had a lot of 6 a.m. practices, and she definitely made me better. Misericordia has made so many fantastic memories for me. I came to school here because it felt like home. And even though the name has changed, There's more buildings on campus. There's a football team that was not here when we were here. It still feels good to say that it feels like home. Thank you again for this honor. I am truly grateful.
Congratulations. We'll talk Monday morning, 9 o'clock. Meeting in my office. Thanks. Christine Marks Manning, class of 2012, women's basketball. To present, Christine, I think this is the first time, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, that a vice president of this institution has presented a Hall of Famer. Our vice president of enrollment management, Glenn Baczynski. Glenn.
Hi, everybody. I have the great pleasure of presenting, Christine Marks Manning for induction into the Misericordia University Athletics Hall of Fame. I can't even count the number of admissions open houses, which always begin right here in Anderson, at which I or one of our admissions colleagues, usually I, would point to that Hall of Fame and say, when are you going to end up there, Christine? Tonight's that night, so I'm very excited. The Misericordia women's basketball record book more or less reads like a biography of Christine Marks. She has made more baskets and scored more points than any other player in MU history. Her 1,644 points don't just rank her first on that list, they put her nearly 300 points ahead of the second leading scorer in school history. Unsurprisingly, she has accounted for the two highest scoring individual seasons in school history. She's the school leader in free throws made, and she made them almost 85% of the time she stepped to that line, which apparently she did a lot. Pretty much every picture you can find of her to ever appear in the athletic brochures, even the photo on the wall in the conference room, were all taken at the foul line. As I was leaving the gym last night, I noticed the plaques of the new class had been affixed to the wall in advance of today's ceremony. Sure enough, amidst all the action shots of the other athletes, Eric Rogers in midair, for example, is another picture of Christine. Different one, standing at the foul line. Maybe she was so lightning fast on the court that her image could not be captured in traditional mechanisms. So that's why. I wrote all that before I found out they picked their own pictures. Now I feel like, For the better part of a decade, Christine also held the all-time leading rebounder record in Misericordia history as well. She now sits second in that category with 903 career rebounds. In perhaps the greatest single performance in Misericordia women's basketball history, she once hauled down 25 rebounds in a game. In case you might think that was one of those Dennis Rodman games, it wasn't. She also put up 30 points in that game, and best of all, it was against Wilkes. Christine's sixth in school history in block shots with 53. That doesn't count the one she blocked on me about 10 years ago when I made the unwise decision to venture down to that court when the fitness center was closed. She's also top 10 in the university history in steals, a very significant accomplishment for an interior player. Christine was a three-time first-team all-conference selection, including being named MAC Conference Player of the Year as a senior, and was named All-Region twice. She earned honorable mention All-American status and was one of 10 finalists for the Jostens Division III National Player of the Year Award in 2012. That's an incredible amount of individual accomplishment. But the real mark of a great player is how you impact the performance of your teammates and how you impact the final result of the game. The progression in Christine's team success is so consistent it seems almost scripted. In her freshman year, Misericordia's first season in the MAC conference, she helped her team to the MAC playoffs. In her sophomore year, she led the team to their first MAC playoff win. Her third season would see her take the squad all the way to the MAC championship game, only to fall there. As a senior, she would lead her team in cutting down the nets and earning Misericordia women's basketball their first trip to the NCAA tournament as a senior. We remember that day, the guys as well, for the double championship that was so exciting. With many of us watching on a horribly choppy NCAA feed online, Joe Cipriani will remember that, I bet. Christine's playing career ended as her game-tying attempt at Tufts with under a minute left was tipped away. Sorry, but I had to bring it up. Christine Marks Manning has made an indelible impact as an athlete on Misericordia University. Those of us who have seen her play, who have followed her career, have witnessed Misericordia, MAC Conference, and NCAA history. But our true good fortune is having Christine continue to be a part of the Misericordia community long after her playing days ended. To go back in time a bit, I first got to know Christine thanks to Dr. Scott Richardson, who led the university's diversity efforts and also served as assistant women's basketball coach. Scott invited me up to his office one day to pitch me on adding a student ambassador to our team, one of his freshman basketball players, as he felt that both the department and the student could greatly benefit. Knowing Scott as I did, I said yes, and it helped start Christine on a path of never leaving her alma mater. Neither of us would let this day go by, I think, without thinking of Scott, who recently passed away and is, I'm sure, watching over these proceedings with an immense smile, huge pride, and a big cigar. All told, Christine has been at MU for almost 15 years, spending nearly all of them in the Office of Admissions as a student ambassador, and admissions intern, and admissions counselor, and eventually assistant director of admissions for transfer students, before moving across the campus to join the Student Success Center as a retention liaison just a few months ago. All who have worked with her can attest that she brings all the traits that made her a legendary athlete to her work at the university. She has always exhibited a strong work ethic, a propensity for teamwork, an abundance of kindness and respect, a true commitment to making those around her better, probably a bit too much humility about her athletic accomplishments, and an empathy and ease of personality that has made so many prospective and current students trust that she is looking out for their best interests. A person doesn't get to achieve what Christine has achieved without the support of many. I've been very fortunate to get to know some of them along the way. Her mom, Michelle, her dad, Mike, certainly, her incredible and very tall husband, Doug, who I think, as I was going through this, I might have known for a little bit longer than I've known Christine, going back to the day. We see here Christine's former teammates as well as work friends, Misericordia Admissions represent, and colleagues here tonight. It's great to see them all here to honor her and to provide a testament to the fact that Christine has positively impacted so many on and off the court. In conclusion, I'm proud to have the honor to formally present Christine Marks Manning for induction to the Misericordia Athletics Hall of Fame.
All right, so thanks, Glenn, for that intro. I'll start by saying my talents are in basketball, not in public speaking, but I'm going to give this my best shot. I'm very honored to become part of the Misericordia Athletics Hall of Fame, and congrats to my fellow inductees on their accomplishments in their athletic careers. When I think of my 4 years playing basketball at MU, some words that come to mind are pride, excitement, family, dedication, and accomplishment. Misericordia University women's basketball helped me grow into the person I am today. When I first started at MU, I lacked confidence. However, my basketball experiences helped me grow year after year. I was able to see my hard work and dedication pay off, and I'm very grateful that I was able to be part of such a special team. So this was also brought up twice already tonight, but one of the best memories I had when I played was when we beat Kings in the Freedom Conference Championship game. Our team worked hard all season and overcame adversity to get to that point. We had a motto that season, one team, one dream, and that came true. Just as exciting was later in that day, our men's basketball team beat Wilkes in the Freedom Conference Championship. So that was a really great day for MU basketball and a day I will never forget. I would like to thank some people who helped me throughout the years. These people encouraged me to be the best that I could be, and I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what I did without them. All of my coaches who put me in situations where I could succeed but also challenged me. A special thanks to Coach Richardson, who is unfortunately no longer with us, who became a mentor to me, had confidence in me, and recognized my potential as a basketball player. My teammates, basketball is a team sport. Though there are individual successes in the game, the successes would not have been possible without a supportive and encouraging team. The most important people that I would like to thank are my family. my mom and dad, brother, and grandma. Equally important is my extremely supportive husband, Doug, who I actually met at Misericordia and was my rock during my last 2 years of playing. A special thank you to my parents. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to attend Misericordia and continue my love for basketball. Mom and Dad, I couldn't have done any of this without your constant love and support. The hours of driving to games and tournaments, being there to celebrate with me when we won or pick me up when we lost, it did not go unnoticed, and I appreciate you so much. Misericordia has been such a huge part of my life and holds a special place in my heart. Overall, I'm thankful for the friends I made, for the challenges I overcame, the relationships I built, and the lifelong pride of being an MU Cougar. Thank you.
Congratulations. I think one of the things that is extremely special about Misericordia, one of the many, is the fact that people who earned their degree here, paid tuition, room, and board here, have returned to give back to this university. Christine does that in our Student Success Center. Coach Stahovic, Coach Chandler, Coach Stauffer, Mike Gambita, people that believe in the mission of this institution, what it represents, and what it stands for. So, Christine, congratulations, and thanks for continuing in your ways here at Misericordia and influencing young people day in and day out. So thank you. Hollie Sarnak Parsons, class of 2011, softball student athlete extraordinaire. You'll hear why in just a moment. But to present Hollie is friend Carmela Brown. Carmela.
Good evening, everybody. I, too, am an alumni of College Misericordia. Okay. With that being said, good evening, everyone. Tonight, I have the pleasure, no, the honor of presenting Hollie Sarnak Parsons, class of 2011, softball inductee to the Misericordia's Athletic Hall of Fame. Thank you for introducing me as her friend. As I said, my name is Carmela Brown, and I am the widow of Hollie's softball coach from high school. So I am posthumously doing this presentation on behalf of my husband. With that being said, Hollie's softball coach was Charlie Brown. Yes, you can take a chuckle on that. Sometimes he did act like the infamous Charlie Brown. But Charlie Brown was known as Dude to Hollie. And it was a loving comment that she would make to him. Don't start. All right. There are many thoughts that raced through my mind as I sat trying to describe Hollie. And a couple of those, when I looked back at the years when my husband was coaching and Hollie was a player, and the status that comes through for Hollie is I frequently heard from my husband about Hollie. She has it. The drive, the determination to be the best. And she knows the game, thanks to mom and dad, thanks to her brother and her family members. She's strong. She has power, and best of all, she listens. Countless hours of being in the batting cage during season and off season. The calls to the house. Dude, do you have time to go to the cage? Oh, I remember those calls. Her high school coaches, I even reached out to them. And Mr. Williams and Mr. Warren also described her as a team leader. She was dependable, a solid infielder, and she led her teammates by example. Hollie always went the extra mile. whether during the season or off season, and I can attest to that as the wife of a coach. Hollie was a good academic student and respectful to everyone. I can also attest to that as being a faculty member at the high school at Nanticoke area where she attended. As she left high school and journeyed to Misericordia, all her work ethics followed her. In the classrooms, in her clinical studies, and on the softball field. Hollie worked hard. I can attest to that because there were many a game that I would hear from my husband, we're going to Misery, we're going to see Hollie Bear. We got that. Hollie finished her softball career, and I'm gonna reiterate on everything that's in the program tonight. She finished her softball career as a 3-time all-conference selection. She currently is tied for the all-time school lead with 32 career home runs. And I'm going to say to you, my husband has one with him. She ranks 3rd in career hits at 208, doubles at 44, total bases 352 with 149 RBIs. He's smiling down, Hollie. She ranks the top 10 in Misericordia history for slugging percentage, of which he is probably very proud of, and runs scored. Hollie, dude is sure smiling from above. I personally and publicly right now would like to thank you for your countless hours you spent at Dude's bedside, following your college classes, your clinical hours, and your games. Hollie would show up at my husband's bedside, and she would wait until myself and my daughter would leave. And Hollie would then go and spend a few hours with my husband on his bedside. You are such a special woman and dear to my heart and my daughter's heart. Congratulations to you and your family and your husband and your son Nolan on your induction into the Misericordia Athletic Hall of Fame. Present to you Hollie Sarnak Parsons. Don't cry. I'm proud of you.
That was tough. So Misericordia has allowed me to make so many great memories here. I'm so thankful to add this night to them. I would like to start by thanking Shar Slocum for taking a chance on me as a freshman and giving me the opportunity to play at a collegiate level. She was an amazing coach and an even better person. To my parents, who drove me to every practice and game, supported me quietly from the stands, and gave me pep talks when I needed them the most. Thank you. This award is just as much yours as it is mine. To my husband, who has been there throughout most of my softball career. We actually started together in T-ball. Your support has never wavered, even when I had little time for anything besides practice and games. Thank you, and I love you. To my son, Nolan, may you always dream big, shoot for the stars, and never give up. I will always be your #1 supporter. Thank you to Misericordia Athletics Department for always supporting your student athletes, and without you, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you to my botch, my pop, Claire, Mark, and my family and friends who have always supported me and encouraged me to do my best. Thank you to my work family who's here today. My teammate, Nicole Radizak. She was always my person on and off the field at Misericordia. She always pushed me on the field to be a better player, and she was an amazing athlete as well. To my presenter, Carmela Brown, thank you for presenting me with my award today, and thank you for allowing me to be part of your family. Dude meant the world to me, and I'm forever thankful for him. The hours upon hours you gave up for him to help me and Katie become better players. You could have convinced him to start a little later than 6:30 in the morning.
But nonetheless, the amount of time he gave us meant less hours with you. You're selfless and so kind. Thank you for being here with me today. Although Dude is no longer with us, I can imagine not thanking him. He is one of the biggest reasons I am standing up here today. He coached me, even when I was a bratty teen who didn't want to listen, because I already knew it all. He coached me when I had a bad game and also when I had a good game. There was always an improvement to be made, and although he was a great softball coach, his coachings went way beyond the field. He lives in many aspects of my life today. He instilled a work ethic that extends off the field and into my daily life. He taught me if you put the work in, you'll see the results. He taught me to respect others, and he always believed in me. This was evident one day when Coach Shar had mentioned that there was a shortstop position opening, and Dude had me on the field every day after batting practice to take ground balls at shortstop. I told him multiple times I was not a shortstop. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not fast. I didn't have the range or the speed for the position, but regardless, he still hit ground balls for weeks, making me run back and forth at shortstop. I didn't end up making shortstop, thank God, and I told you so, Dude. But the confidence he had in me was contagious, and I became a better player and a better person because of him. So thank you, Dude. I love you, and I miss you. Thank you.
Congratulations. I think we just heard if this is a word, I might be making it up, exemplification of Misericordia University relationships. And we heard from two people tonight, right there in Hollie's remarks and in Carmela's remarks, what relationships mean and how valuable they are at Misericordia and how they are to others. So, thank you. Dr. Pat DePasquale is being inducted posthumously this evening and served as the president of College Misericordia from 1989 through 1992. He was a friend and key contributor to the athletics program here. The Anderson Center is his doing. Our transition from the NAIA to the NCAA Division III level is his doing. Many of us are here because of Dr. Pat's influence and belief in Misericordia athletics. I was fortunate to arrive here in 1991. I was 26 years old. Dr. Mold has me on for an interview, and he said, we're going to meet the president. Are you kidding me? I'm 26 years old. I'm a state school guy. I'm a phys editor, and I'm going to meet the president of a college or university. My knees were knocking walking into that interview. And Dr. DePasquale smiled. He shook my hand, and I went, wow. Genuine, welcoming, and I thought, this is a place I want to be. So many people I had met that day, but he was key to me making a decision to come to Misericordia. And I will be always thankful to Dr. DePasquale for his belief in a young 26-year-old guy who had all the answers and realized later he didn't have any of them. So I appreciate that greatly. To present Dr. DePasquale this evening is his daughter, Dr. Maria DePasquale. Following Maria's presentation, Dr. DePasquale's grandson, Joseph, will accept his award and make remarks. So Dr. DePasquale, Dr. Maria DePasquale, would you please come forward? Thanks.
What a joy it is to be here tonight, to hear all these beautiful stories, to be in this beautiful facility. I want to thank Chuck so much, and Scott also, for making the effort to reach out to my family and make sure that we were here tonight, and for their just genuine, heartwarming enthusiasm about my dad and what his role was here. It's been 30 years, I think, since I've been here at what I keep thinking of as College Misericordia. We were laughing as we were coming in. We realized that my husband met my parents for the very first time at the house at 130 Lake Street as we drove past it. So we have very, very fond memories of that and my parents' time here. My dad believed in Catholic higher education. he dedicated his career to Catholic higher education and the role of lay people in Catholic higher education. He really believed that places like College Misericordia had something very, very special to contribute to higher ed. And the formation of the people that I've heard speaking here tonight, God, what a testament, what a beautiful testament to what this university makes possible for people. Absolutely thrilling. It would make him so proud. It would make him so proud to be inducted as a member of this wonderful class. It would make him so proud to hear the beautiful stories that you told tonight and the amazing people who I've seen pass before me tonight. All of that would make him very proud, but nothing would make him prouder than for what I'm about to say next. And that is that I'd like to invite his grandson, Joseph Pasquale Conroy, up to the podium to accept this wonderful award. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's exciting. First, I just want to say thank you to the incredible committee for such enthusiasm for my grandfather. It's really just an absolute honor, especially to be here on his behalf tonight. And congratulations to all of the inductees tonight, just some outstanding athletes. When I first got a call from Chuck a few months ago, he said that he was looking for someone that knew a Pasquale, and I thought, well, of course I know a Pasquale, that's me. But I quickly realized that he was referring to my grandfather, Dr. Pasquale, D. Pasquale Jr., and I realized that, you know, what a large impact he had on this university. And unfortunately, I wish I had more time to have known him. But I do know from the stories that I've heard from my family, from my aunt, from my mother Kathy, and from my other aunt Teresa, who have constantly told me about the amazing stories of what a man of passion and grit and faith and commitment to excellence in higher education. And that carries over equally to support for collegiate athletic programs. And that is no stronger than here at Misericordia. And understanding just how much he committed to this university, to the advancement of the programs here, it's hard to just describe in words. And unfortunately, though he's not here with us tonight, at least it may not seem that way, I believe that he is, because his legacy carries on all the way through to this very day, to this night, not just in this building here, but in the individual athletes that we've seen, the outstanding and amazing athletes that live up to that commitment of excellence in education and athletics at a collegiate level. And so, therefore, it goes without saying, it is an absolute honor and privilege to be here tonight to accept this induction on his behalf. And so, again, thank you all for, on behalf of Dr. Di Pasquale and on behalf of the entire Di Pasquale family, thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for letting us borrow and giving many of us a chance to meet your grandfather. We were very, very fortunate. So we're coming through COVID, and we're coming through the age of Zoom and all that goes with it. So why not have a virtual presentation this evening? Eric Rogers, class of 2008 track and field alum, he's gone through probably not only setting records as a jumper, but setting records for trying to determine who was going to present him tonight. So he was an athlete under Hall of Famer head coach Chris Wattis, our cross-country track and field coach. We have the cross-country team up at Geneseo tonight, so he's off the table. His wife, cousin, I want to get this right, is Michael Anderson. Michael Anderson is one heck of a football player on our team, and he's also a track athlete. Unfortunately, against Albright, Mike suffered an injury, ACL, MCL, required surgery, couldn't be with us tonight. Scott Crispell, our assistant AD for Media and Community Relations, is overcoming illness. He couldn't pinch hit, so they were going to go to me, which you don't want that. But a good friend of his and a young man who played soccer for me here, but was also a track and field student athlete and is now coaching college soccer and has a match tonight, Brian Osborne, will be presenting. So if all goes well via technology, you will be presented by your good friend, Brian Osborne. So Max, are you ready for me? Max says yes. So we're going to hope this works. If it doesn't, I got a backup plan, but you still own the record for a number of potential presenters on the night of a Hall of Fame. Okay. So we shall see. If it works, good idea on my part. If it doesn't work, Max's fault.
Good evening. My name is Brian Osborne, and I am a former track teammate of Eric Rogers. I apologize. I'm unable to be there with you guys this evening. I'm in my first season as a college head soccer coach, and I actually have a game right now. So you can imagine how disappointed I was when I had to give Eric the bad news. I wasn't going to be there in person to give his Hall of Fame speech. Now Eric, as his friends would refer to him as Raj, was the sole reason why I fell in love with track and field. I came into Misericordia as a soccer recruit, and I decided late that I would participate in track and field in the spring. So my soccer teammates insisted I meet this Eric Rogers guy, and so they brought me over for the introduction, and there stands Rogers, 5'0", 100 nothing, devilishly handsome man with unbelievable head of hair. And I thought to myself, there's no way this guy runs track. He's got to be on the golf team. And boy, did I bite my tongue quickly. His quickness is unmatched. His running form was silky smooth. And when you're a jumper, there's something referred to as the pop. And that's the sound when a jumper hits the board and takes off in the air. Now, great jumpers are either fast or they have the pop. Eric had both, and his accolades are a direct correlation. Seeing that luscious hair not move an inch, fly through the air, and land in that sand was a thing of beauty. Now, his athleticism was obvious, but the best attribute of his, and I'm sure his wife Megan will agree with me, is his ability to pull the best out of the people around him. Track is such an individualized sport. Eric was a fantastic teammate. I remember the 2006 ECAC Championships in the 4x400 meter relay. Eric was our leadoff. He's quick and explosive. It makes sense. I was our anchor for obvious reasons. And Eric started the race at a blistering time. And I eventually got the baton with maybe 3 teams ahead of me, maybe 15 meters, going around the last curve. And all of a sudden, on the infield, here's Eric Rogers running next to me, screaming, "Come on, Oz, come on!" The man just ran a 400 meter himself a minute ago. And there he was, going stride for stride with me, pulling me through to the finish line. He had the ability to push all his teammates, whether it was in the weight room, whether it was on hills, whether it was in study hall, whether it was on the track in snow or rain, he was there, pushing and pulling. Believe me, I cursed him out so many times, but Eric always knew it was all going to be worth it for all of us. Even when he had a teammate in the same event as him, competing essentially against him, he was there hyping him up and pushing him to be better. The recipe for a coach's dream is pure talent, strong work ethic, and a great teammate. And that was Eric. He was a model student athlete for Misericordia, but also one of the most loyal friends and teammates anybody could ask for. He's someone you could call at 3 o'clock in the morning to help change a tire in the pouring rain. Out of all the former teammates in all the sports in my entire lifetime, I cannot think of anyone else more deserving of this honor. I'm proud to call him one of my best friends and teammates. Congratulations, Eric. This is so well deserved. I love you, buddy.
So it worked. All right. A few years ago, I can remember reaching out to Coach Wattis, who is not here, in regards to this event, this ceremony. What's the criteria? Would I, possibly have an opportunity to stand up here at some point with so many, obviously, great athletes? Of course, I told Coach Wattis that he was dragging his feet a little bit, and if you guys don't know Coach Wattis, he's a little shy, he's a little quiet, he's a little reserved. So I gave him two options. I said, Coach, listen, you either help get me inducted into this Hall of Fame, or you're going to help pay some of this undergrad student loan debt that I still have hanging over me. But either way, he made it work out. So on a serious note, congratulations to the inductees. I'm proud to be here. I'm honored to represent Misericordia Track and Field. And also I want to thank everybody that's here as well. I'm sure 95, if not 100% of you guys have had some sort of impact on us inductees and the reason we're standing here today. So unfortunately, like I said, Coach Wattis is not here. Coach was a teammate, he was a coach, and I think more importantly, he was a friend of mine over the years. And what I respected most about Coach Wattis, he was always educating himself. He was always trying to get better and always trying to have an impact on his student athletes, which have been hundreds of student athletes over the years. So I always appreciated that from him. Coach Yule, Coach Gorm, two guys that I had the privilege of learning from 2004 to 2008, two absolute beasts of athletes. And to be quite honest with you, I really don't think I'd be here and giving this speech if it weren't for those two guys. I think we had a mindset early on that I'd be able to compete at a national level as a long jumper, and again, without those two guys, I definitely wouldn't have had that opportunity. So to my parents, again, I know we mentioned our parents who would travel 3-4 hours to see us compete. I guess you don't realize the importance of that until you mature, you have a family of your own, and it's something that I'll never take for granted, so I love you guys. My beautiful wife who's here, we met after college, so she didn't know much about me prior, so now I can kind of remind her that I was somewhat of a decent athlete back in the day. And in closing, thank you so much, Misericordia, for hosting this event. I'm truly honored to represent Misericordia Track and Field. And in closing, I think sometimes we meet people, it could be for a moment, it could be for a day or a lifetime, and I'm not sure it's how much time you spend with a person, but what type of impact that person had on our lives during that time. And I think an event like this really represents how many of our coaches really put their time and effort into making us not only better athletes, but better people. So I just want to thank everybody that had that impact on me. So.
Congratulations. If we could have a round of applause for all of our inductees, so well deserved. I think what stands out the most to me, obviously it's an athletics Hall of Fame, so they're all pretty good, right? We've figured that out. But what I think separates a Misericordia Hall of Famer is who they are and what they learned and how they transitioned from a 17, 18-year-old young person to the persons and people that they are today. Brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, grandsons, granddaughters. But again, and someone had mentioned it earlier, Misericordia is transformational. And sometimes the word is overused, but I think it's just so true and so real here at this university. So congratulations once again to all of you, not for only what you brought to your team and your teammates and our coaching staff and how you represented this university, but for taking a chance on Misericordia and saying, hey, this was my home. So thanks again to each and every one of you. Dr. Myers, an avid runner, had a chance to meet with him via Zoom today. He told me it was okay to say he's on the backside of COVID. His plan is to get out and about tomorrow and hopefully have the chance to interact with all of you. But he wanted to send his best, asked me to do so, and congratulations to each and every one of you. We're fortunate to have Dr. Myers leading the way here at Misericordia. He's very enthusiastic, very excited, and small world. Dr. Maria Di Pasquale, who is at the University of Notre Dame, obviously knew Dr. Myers, who was once at Notre Dame. So the world's smaller. I'll take it one step further. So if I get this wrong, Maria, come up and just push me and you get it right. Dr. Di Pasquale also hired Kevin White. Am I right? At Loras. Okay, so the very first GA that I had was from Loras. My second GA was from Loras. My third GA was from Loras. And when I spoke to Maria on the phone, she said, oh, by the way, he was the president of Loras. Okay, well, that's wonderful. Kevin White, yada, yada, yada. Dr. Michael Mold, who many of us, all of us know, and his name is on the court, who hired me and many, many people had great relationships with Doc. One of Doc's friends and someone that he brought along was Kevin White. Now, some of you may be saying, who the heck's Kevin White? Kevin White is a Cortland State alum, go Red Dragons, but also, there you go, Jimmy Ricardo. But also, Kevin White is the commissioner of one of the Power 5 schools, the SEC. So holy smokes, what a small world, and it all comes back to the relationships developed here at Misericordia. So we're going to give credit to Misericordia for all that really good stuff. We're going to go from there. You know, obviously we've had a chance to thank our committee members, but there's other folks across this wonderful campus who were instrumental in making this happen tonight. Things went really well with the video, but I got to give the credit to Max Worden. He's really done a great job tonight, and thank him for what he has done. Thanks to Paige May, our assistant to the athletic director, organizing the awards for this evening. Jim Ricardo, our assistant director of athletics, coordinating the events, making sure that Spencer Lindstadt, our new graduate assistant in athletic administration, who did a great job, worked also with Jason Ryan to get us ready to go. And of course, our outstanding facilities crew to get this place, as always, ship-shape. You never know this building was put up in 1993, and 30 years later, it still looks marvelous. And we're really, really proud to call this our home, and we get to walk in here every day. Not a bad thing to do. To offer our benediction this evening is Amy Lahart, our Vice President for Mission Integration and Student Life. We couldn't ask for a better advocate for our students and our student athletes than Amy. So, Amy, you're up.
Thank you. Congratulations to everybody. This is without a doubt one of my favorite evenings as we start the fall semester. Congratulations to all of the inductees. Celebrations at Misericordia certainly are plentiful, and we have many, many reasons to celebrate our students and their accomplishments. And as can be seen tonight, it certainly doesn't stop after you leave the institution with your degree in hand. Your commitment to the integrity of this institution and the values of the Sisters of Mercy are way too numerous to recount, but our speakers tonight certainly gave it a good try. So thank you for the mark that you made on this institution, and certainly thank you for the marks that you continue to make in your lives. We are so incredibly proud. Whether you graduated from College Misericordia or Misericordia University, I think we all fondly say tonight, welcome home. So please join me in placing yourselves in the quiet space of God. Good and gracious God, we give you thanks for our Misericordia University Hall of Fame inductees, all of whom who have used the time, the talents, the resources that you have placed in their lives for good and for good of others.
They certainly have reminded us that what we do today will be, in fact, what we are known for tomorrow. God, creator of things, we devote our hearts to the blessings that you have provided to us and to them. Continue to teach us truth that we may walk with courage. Continue to teach us forgiveness that we may walk with compassion. Please teach us grace that we may walk with strength. We ask that you teach us wonder, that we will always walk with praise for others, not for ourselves. And God of steadfast love, bless all of these inductees, our students, the Misericordia students and their families here, who have certainly answered the call enthusiastically to accept the responsibilities of living lives of purpose and intention, to show mercy, to live lives of service to others, those who stand boldly for justice, and to always model the hospitality that Misericordia, mercy inspires in a world that is so distressed and need of the mercy that we carry forward. Amen.
Thank you, Amy. So tomorrow, we'll continue the celebration with our honorees. At halftime of the football game, we have FDU Florham tomorrow, conference contest. I'll ask that the inductees and their families join me at 1:30 at the Mets concession trailer at the Mangelsdorf Field. You can't miss it. You'll see it. You'll know it's there. And we'll have the opportunity for them to be escorted at halftime of the football game and be recognized for their accomplishments and their induction this evening. We're going to keep the party going tonight. From here, the opportunity to please join us over in the Bevavino Library, the McGowan Room of the Bevavino Library, for a reception. But holy smokes, what a great night. What a wonderful group of presenters and inductees. It is absolutely my pleasure to be the Director of Athletics at Misericordia University, and all these people just show you why. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much.